session that we already have lined up for you today. Okay, we are going to be discussing a very important topic around the right jobs to consider with your past work experience in the UK, US, and Canada. And when we talk about jobs in UK, US, and Canada, it doesn't mean that if you're in Ireland, if you are in Scotland, if you're in Germany, if you are in Nigeria, if you're in Ghana, that it doesn't also apply to you. Okay, so make reference to these three countries to make sure that we use them as a point of reference for the other countries that each and every one of you may be joining us from. Okay, so before we jump into the discussion for today, I would love to know you and where you are joining us from. Simply put your name and the country you are joining us from in the comment section, and we are going to get started immediately. Okay, I have over 100 people on the call, so just put your name and location of where you're joining us from so that we can be able to acknowledge all the countries that we have present in this discussion that we are having this evening. Okay, I can see Kain from UK, Jeff Amsterdam, I can see Monday from Scotland, I can see Toy from UK, Tyrat from Manchester, Albert from UK, fantastic, Rebecca from Saudi Arabia, amazing. I think this should be the second or third time we're having people join us from Saudi Arabia. We have Hafiz from UK, Eno from UK, Uluwashei, Scotland, Asante from UK, Elton, Ghana, Chidi from Nigeria, Sami UK, Rita Ghana, Tosi UK, Joshua from USA, okay, USA, and Aredeji from Nigeria, Irene from UK, and a whole lot of others from Ghana, UK. I can see all of you, Beryl, Tina, Michael, and as well as Fumi Zile, and also Choma from Nigeria. Then George from Kenya, fantastic. We have people, Kofi from US, Praise from Glasgow, that should be Scotland, Mattis from Canada, and also Amai Biam from Nigeria, Annie from UK. Fantastic. We have people from different countries. We have people from Nigeria, we have people from Ghana, we have people from South Africa, Saudi Arabia, UK, US, as well as Scotland and Ireland. Okay, I can see a new one as well. We have Vizi from Eswatini. Wow, fantastic. I don't know where that is. We have Vizi from Eswatini. Fantastic. We have Divya from UK, Tochi, Nigeria. And it's good to have you all on the call. We have Peter from Jamaica. Okay, and if you know anyone that what we are about to discuss this evening is going to be very, very beneficial to, please feel free to share the link to this conversation to them. Okay, your friend, your family members, even your enemy that you know is going to benefit from what we have lined up for today. Please feel free to share the link to the conversation with them because we are about to get started immediately. Okay, one more request. If today is the first time that you are joining any of our sessions, feel free to put a 1 in the comment section so that we know people that we have a special package for. Okay, so if today is your first time, put a 1. But if you've been here before, put a number as it pleases you. Fantastic. I can see a lot of 1s. That simply means that everybody on this call today is the first time that you are listening to what we have to say. Fantastic. You are at the right spot, and we are going to get started immediately. Like I said earlier, we're going to be talking about the right jobs to consider with your past work experience in the UK, US, and Canada. Okay, and very important thing I want you to do is my colleague is dropping the attendance form in the comments. That should be from Finn or Elijah. That dropping the attendance form. Okay, so do well to fill the attendance form so that we can be able to share the slide for this conversation with you and also the recorded version of everything that we are going to be talking about today. Okay, so if you have maybe a call that comes in that will take you out of this conversation, you have the slide and also the recorded version to go through by the time that we are done with this discussion. And who exactly is organizing this event for today? So we are Tenalytics, and we are the leading educational technology company that is helping people of the Black community to break into tech career path by lowering the entry barrier. So because we've realized that in the ecosystem, most time when people want to get trained for tech courses, they might not see people that they can easily be able to understand. That's why we came into the business to try and help more Black people, help everyone that needs to transition from the job that you are currently doing right now to the tech industry. Okay, we've been doing this for close to 5 years, and we've helped people in US, UK, Canada, Europe, Africa, and of course Asia to move from our classroom to landing their first jobs. And we've helped close to 2,900 people on areas that are specifically based on data analytics, business analysis, data engineering, data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, agile project management, that's Scrum Master, and of course, cyber security, and soon to come AI engineering. And how exactly do we do this? So because we've realized that recruiters, most of the times, they are looking for people with experience. So we teach using real life case studies. So you're not coming into the classroom just to learn theoretical basis. You're coming to the classroom to learn using the real world experience of what our consultants are doing outside there. Because our facilitators come from amazing companies like our KPMG, Deloitte, McKinsey. So they bring their own experience to teach you with those things that they've been hands-on the job, which means by the time that you are done training, can fully be able to also have experience of things that you've done before now. And who exactly am I that I've been speaking to you for the last couple of minutes? My name is Chukwu Emeka, and I'm the CEO of Tenalytics. For the last couple of years, I've served as a GRC professional and also as a strategic consultant in several roles, okay? Presently, I am the CEO and I've played in places like financial service sector, capital markets, hospitality space, and right now, I am in the educational technology space. Okay, I've worked as a data analyst in the fintech ecosystem. I've worked as a head of control, also in the fintech industry. I've worked as a governance, risk, and compliance specialist in the banking sector, as well as a business growth consultant in the hospitality space. Okay, and most important thing is I have something for education, which is why I'm here with you all right now. Okay, feel free to follow me on LinkedIn at Chukwuemeka Ikpa, or Twitter at Emeka_Highs, or Instagram at Ikpa_Chuks. And we're going to continue this discussion and take it to be a personalized one for you. So we're going to jump into our main discussion for being here today. What are we exactly doing today? So first thing is we're going to be understanding how to leverage your initial work experience in the country that you are presently in right now. Because there's always this myth that for you to be able to work in the UK, maybe you're moving from Ghana to UK or you're moving from Nigeria to US, for you to be able to do something there, you need work experience, that country-specific work experience. But I'm here to demystify it for you to see that it is possible for you to get into all those areas without you actually having an initial work experience. Then number two is, where are the jobs? One major mistake that people make in this economy right now is, I want to break into the tech industry. And you are breaking to the career path that is not going to be there in the next coming years. Or you are breaking towards a career path that you don't have strong skill sets that will enable you to survive there. Okay, so we are going to walk you through where the jobs are, as well as the skills that is needed for all those jobs. Then you can easily be able to align your initial work experience to the career path that suits you the best. Then we're also going to show you success stories of people that have been able to do this in the past. And if they were able to do it, definitely you also can be able to do it as well. And we'll have an amazing discount for you by virtue of you being in this session right now. So we are going to jump into this discussion. But first thing I want everyone on this call to have the mindset that it is possible. Okay? I want all of us on this session, close to 150 people here, to know that it is possible. Because the first thing is, once you've already closed up your mind that, oh, I just moved from Nigeria to UK, I sure can be able to do something. Okay, I just moved from Ghana to US, I sure can be able to do something aside the initial work that is easily available for people. I'm here to tell you that it is highly possible. Right? If people that are present in those countries right now, Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, as the case may be, they can be in those countries and get jobs that is available outside, how much more you that is present in all those countries, okay? But first thing that we need to be able to understand is skill is very, very key, all right? So how do you leverage your initial work experience into breaking into the tech space? So first thing I would like to walk us through is I'll walk us through the experience of this individual that I have right now on my screen. So let's call this guy Spaceman A. Okay, I hope we are all ready to hear and listen. If you are pumped for us to jump into this discussion, please do anything in the comments so that I'll be sure that people can still hear me, all right? So do anything in the comment section so that I'll be sure there are people that can hear me. Okay, fantastic from Tosin, ready. Nunu, let's go. Amazing. Okay, Adenike Priscilla is dancing. It's good to see your dancing steps in the comment section. All right, so let's jump into what we have for today. Like I said earlier, let's consider this to be our specimen A. All right, so you're about to be a teacher tonight. This is our specimen A. Now, I want all of us to, be very, very, like, let's open our eyes and watch what I'm doing right now. This is the point where specimen A took a course with us from July 2024. That's when he took a course with us. All right. But one major thing we made sure to help specimen A get into a better career path is to look at the initial work experience. Now, let's look at when this individual was living in Nigeria. Okay. As of 2016, he was simply working as a business office manager with a printing press in Lagos, Nigeria. Okay. So when we look at this initial work experience, we were not able to identify something that tilted towards cybersecurity entirely. All right. Then he moved to Kodu Creative, still in Lagos, Nigeria. Right. And here in Kodu Creative, he still worked in the creative industry, Kodu Creatives. All right. But we identified that he did something that relates to AWS security architect. Right. He did one exact task that relates to AWS. So what we did was to, walk him through how he can optimize the title of his role to be AWS Security Solutions Architect. Right? He now moved to UK and was working as, okay, let me know, I don't want to, for lack of better words, I don't want to call it security, but he was doing a security job, right? But part of what his tasks included that he needs to look at the CCTV, all right? He needs to look at the CCTV and monitor the cameras and all. So because of it, we also optimize the title to be Security Event Monitoring Officer, all right? Security Event Monitoring Officer. This should be in 2023. Now, when he came to us in 2024 and said, I want to transition to the tech industry, we've now looked at his entire career path, and cybersecurity is something that he was very, very keen on getting into. So because of it, his initial work experience had to play a strong role with respect to us making sure that he gets into that space. So before now, the title that he had in this Kodu Creative was, I think it was a business manager, and here it was just should be a something task officer that he had here. But simply by optimizing all those titles and now bringing out things that he did that related to cybersecurity, he can now comfortably be able to say that he has been in the cybersecurity space from 2019, which is from here, all the way to 2025. So if you check, it will be roughly 6 years now. If you check, it means that he's been in this space for 6 years. But remember, this is the point where he is actually taking the cybersecurity training with us. Okay, so from what you have here, this is point he's taking it, which roughly means that he's less than 1 year into this. Can you suggest at least 2 laptop makers? Okay, all right. Right, which means he's roughly 1 year into his own training as a cybersecurity professional. But because he's been able to, optimize what he has been doing before now, he can comfortably be able to speak that he's been in the cybersecurity space for over 5 years. Now, if he's not coming to look for a job, he's not coming to look for a job as a newbie. Okay, so the major challenge that we always have is that when we look for jobs in some of these countries that we have moved to, there is no relatable experience to back it up. And when we have all those experience to back it up, there's no portfolio to show evidence of work that I've been able to do before now. So clearly, instead of this specimen A to easily have, just 1 year experience, which is just his training with us, he now has 6 years of experience by diving into what he has been doing before now. Okay, same thing applicable to specimen B. So let's look at this specimen B. Let me discard what we have here, and let's look at the specimen B. All right. So looking at this guy now, the guy that we have on the right-hand side, let me bring it a little bit closer. All right. The guy that we have on the right-hand side, you can see that when he also started his own life, he was just working as a Youth for Technology Foundation. He was working in a foundation as far back as 2016 as a program manager, which is right here. All right. And then we also realized that as a program manager, he was involved with gathering data. Okay. So as a program manager, he had to gather data of people that are coming into the foundation, keep the records, and so on and so forth. Now, these are all attributes of a data person. Okay. Attributes of a data person. So after identifying this individual, oh, 1 second, I take my screen just, this individual now moved on to work in Civil Service Commission as an agric officer. Okay, now while still working in that agric officer, he identified that his role also involved doing things that relate to data analytics. So he was able to infuse data analysis into his role. But remember, this is the point where he took the actual training with us, and that should be in 2023. But if you look back at what he's been doing before now, he can clearly say that he's been in this space from 2016 because there is data research analyst that is here. 2016 to now, that's close to 2016 to, that's close to 10 years. Right? So instead of saying that he has 2 years of experience as a data scientist with analytics, he can comfortably be able to speak that he has been in the data space for close to a decade. Now, there is nobody that will turn a blind eye towards someone that has close to a decade of experience. Now, this is to show you that it is important for you to leverage your initial work experience. Okay, you don't have to throw it away. You have to look for ways to make sure that it tilts and connects to what you are trying to break into. Okay, so I'm going to give an example using, for instance, a teacher. Let's assume we have a teacher right here, and the teacher is saying, oh, I'm a teacher. Okay, let me use this to explain. All right, I'm a teacher, and I'm trying to break into the tech ecosystem. All right, and as a teacher, there is one key thing that we all know that teachers always do. One is that they interact with their students. All right, they interact with their students. Two is they interact with parents. Okay, and of course, they interact with school management. Now, by playing across these 3 different guides, this person, this teacher is performing what we call stakeholder analysis. All right, he's doing what we call stakeholder analysis. All right, and the tech stack or the tech career path that is very, very heavy on stakeholder analysis is business analysis. Business analysis. Now, if this teacher decides to transition to tech, business analysis clearly will be the easiest career path that he or she can easily use to break into the tech ecosystem. And when he gets into the industry, he's not coming as a newbie. Remember, we are now going to teach you all that you need to know. After teaching you all those things, you are now going to realize that even while you were serving as a teacher, you were doing things that relate to business analysis. So when you now speak, you're also going to bring in experiences from your teaching days and make it look like you've been in the business analysis space all the time. So it increases your years of experience, it increases your possibilities of landing jobs, and also gives you more avenue to easily break into the tech industry. Now, this teacher that we have right here, let's assume that this teacher now wants to say, oh, I don't want to be a business analyst. I want to move to a career path like cybersecurity. I want to move to cybersecurity. Now, by mere looking at this, cybersecurity is not the easiest career path for this person to break into, which means that he or she is going to struggle. It will now require extra effort from that same teacher to make sure that he adds something that is extraordinary beyond what others that is getting into cybersecurity are coming with. If the others coming to cybersecurity are just giving in, just coming to Saturday classes, going home to sleep. This exact individual, after classes, you just need to go back, watch the recorded version of the classes, and be able to assimilate more. Because it's not going to be easy for you because there is no transferable skill. All right, so the easiest way to get into the tech space is to make sure that you transition through the transferable skills that you already have. I don't know if I'm making sense to anyone. The easiest way is to transition through the transferable skills that you already have. Okay, and now when you get into the space, you can now be able to balance easily and decide to easily, shift your tentacles. Today, we're having a clarity call for a group of people. And what the lady mentioned actually got me laughing. She said, I want the course that when I get into it, I can be able to do cybersecurity, I can be able to do data analysis, I can be able to do business analysis, I can be able to do agile project management. But it is not possible, right? It is possible over a period of time. But for you that is trying to get into the space, the easiest, the fastest, and the best means for you to get into the industry is to transition using a transferable skill that you already have. Okay, someone is asking, what of a nurse? Okay, I may not be able to look at all the individual career paths right now, but I'm just going to take that one, Chidera. What of a nurse? Now, let me look at it from this perspective. If you are a nurse, there are two basic things that you come into the hospital most days to do, and that is what we call, when you meet patients, you try to find out what happened to this individual, and why did it happen. Okay, so what happened and why did it happen? In the actual tech space, the terminologies are simply descriptive analytics, and diagnostic analytics. I'm missing my spellings. Diagnostic analytics, right? And the same thing that you are doing as a nurse, this is exactly what a data analyst will do. Because a data analyst comes to the business to answer two basic questions. What happened and why did it happen? So if you're a nurse looking to transition to tech space, data analytics will be the easiest career path that you are going to take. Okay, so I hope we are understanding the gist now. Now, I may not be able to instantly start aligning everyone right on this call, but this is like a general session where we talk to you about all that is possible. So after the conversation, we have what we call one-on-one clarity calls, where we are going to look at your background and be able to tell you a course that is very, very perfect for you. Because by just looking at the career path you're coming from is not also sufficient. All right. We need to also look at things like, are you someone that is okay speaking to people? Or are you someone that just wants to be on your own? Are you the kind of person that works as a team player? Or are you the kind of person that you just want to be in the back end and do your own thing? Okay. So make sure you fill the attendance form. All right. After this call, we'll have a one-on-one sessions that will run from Monday all through the week. So during that period, you can now look at your background and be able to identify the exact career path that is suitable for you. Okay, but for now, just listen and understand all the gist that I have for you this evening. I hope we are all following. I hope we are all still following. Okay, now after we've been able to see that the best way to transition is living through a transferable skill. Now, what we now need to understand is how and where are the jobs. So these are the same approach that we used for a couple of people in the past. Ikmat used to be a stay-at-home mom, okay? And she came to us, data analytics was recommended to her, and she got two jobs that she had to now choose the one that is very, very instrumental to what she was doing. And that is with the NHS because it offered her full visa sponsorship. We also had Ramat. Ramat moved from being a customer success rep to becoming a business analyst, okay? Tony moved from being a pharmacist to being a data analyst also in UK. We have a lot of people. Hope had certification from PMP, right? She has certification, but she lacked the skills to land the jobs that she was looking out for, right? So she also was walked through all these processes and she landed a job as a project analyst in Canada as well, and so many others. I may not be able to, walk through all the success stories that we have, but make sure that when you get the slide, okay, make sure you fill the attendance form. We're going to send the slide to you, and then you can now easily be able to go through it all and see everything and how their own transition story happened, okay? But by the end of this session, there is one promise I'm making to you, all right? You will clearly understand the most in-demand career paths and the steps you need to take to position yourself to land all those high-paying jobs, okay? I've walked you through the possibilities. That first thing is transition through a transferable career path, a transferable skill career path. And then I'll now walk you through the in-demand path and also how you can also be able to position yourself to land all these jobs that you are looking for. So one major question I want all of us to ask ourselves today is, which jobs should I target? Can you talk about some AI engineering letter, please? Okay. Which jobs should I target? Okay, so I'm going to walk you through this. So what we do every year is we scrape different job boards: LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, Total Jobs, CV Library, Monster, Google Jobs, to find out the highest number of jobs that were posted in each segment, okay? And after getting all this, we analyze them using 3 basic metrics. Number 1 being, which of them has the ease of learning, okay? Which of them is going to give you ease of learning? Which means you as a teacher, you're trying to get into the tech space, which one can you easily learn, all right? You as a nurse, you as a lawyer, you as a civil engineer, trying to break into the tech space, which one can you easily learn and is not going to be a hassle for you? Then number 2 is, which of them also have higher transferable skills from the common jobs that we see out there, okay? Which means I'm coming from teaching. Do I have transferable skill to this tech ecosystem? And the most important one, which all of us always look out for, of course, high or rewarding salary. We always want something that's going to give us a high rewarding salary. So after looking at all the jobs that were posted there, we now noticed all these 8 career paths, right? Number 1 is business analysis. Number 2 is agile project management, that's Scrum Master. Number 3, data analytics, data science, data engineering, cybersecurity, financial analyst, and of course, HR analyst, okay? So we saw that these 8 career paths are the ones that met all these 3 criteria that we have: ease of learning, ease of transitioning, and of course, high rewarding salary. Okay, but what we needed to also know is that all these 8 career paths, in the next coming years, are they going to still be relevant? Okay, because we don't want a situation where we transition to a career path and next thing you are hearing is that, oh, AI has taken over your job, or this one has happened, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we need to validate that all these career paths are going to be relevant in the next coming years. So when we look at the World Economic Forum report, which is the future of job segment, so every year there's this meeting called World Economic Forum, where all world leaders from different countries come together and certain topics are discussed. One of the forums that they have is what we call Future of Jobs. Okay, and from there, we noticed what the report was saying. By 2030, 170 million jobs will be created. Okay, but that's not just it. There is also a detriment to this. 92 million jobs are going to disappear. Okay, and what you want to do is to make sure that you are within these 170 million jobs that will be created. So this red segment represents all the jobs that are going to disappear. This blue side represents the ones that will just be balanced out, while the green jobs are the ones that will be created and also grow. So what you want to do is to make sure that you move from this side towards this direction, so that you are within the space of the jobs that are constantly going to grow. And while we look at the job, realize that the fastest growing job as of today is the big data specialist, right? The big data specialists, these are the fastest growing jobs. And when we talk about big data specialists, it simply represents your data analyst, anyone that is handling data, processing data, storing data. They are all big data specialists, and it includes data engineers, Okay, so the XR that you have there simply represents both your data analyst and of course your data scientist. All right, you can also see this other one here, which is data warehouse specialist. And this is to validate that data engineering is constantly going to be in vogue in the next coming years. It is not going anywhere because it's always in high demand. Now, let me take us back on a journey. Right, last year, 2024, the fastest growing job as our last year was AI and machine learning. So AI and machine learning used to be the fastest growing job as at last year rather. So what happened? After all this AI generation and everything that is currently ongoing, one thing became very, very known to everyone in the tech space, all right? People has built machine models, people have built artificial intelligence, but someone needs to be able to process the data that they are churning out and also be able to store the data that they are bringing out, okay? And that is simply how big data specialists now came back on top. Because last year, AI and machine learning used to be the one on top. But today, it is now big data specialist because AI is in vogue, but someone also needs to be processing those data, storing it, and so on and so forth. That's how big data specialist now came to be the number one fastest growing job. Then continuously, you can see the number three, which is still AI and machine learning specialist. Now, this represents simply your data scientist, right? I'm still going to explain all those career paths extensively, but it represents your data scientist. And if you look right here, can also see that data analysts and scientists are amongst the fastest growing jobs, which means in the next coming years, they are always going to be relevant out there. Now, we are also seeing information security analysts, security management specialists, and of course, Internet of Things. And this simply represents your cyber security analysts. Okay, so it has validated that data engineers are going to be in vogue, data analysts and data science will be there, cybersecurity analysts will be there. And we'll talk about data analysts. It also includes your HR analyst and, of course, your financial analyst. Now, if you come to the full page, that's where you now see everything being put together. All right. Now, if you look down here, also, you're going to see process automation specialists. And when you hear about process automation specialists, it simply means business analyst. Right? It simply means business analyst. So they are also going to be in vogue. So I know by me looking at this, many of us will now be saying, oh, I want to go for the number one. Let me go for the big data specialists because they are the fastest growing jobs. Maybe that's where everything is happening. No, no, no. So what you want to do is to make sure that you are on the left-hand side of jobs. So far as what you are doing is in this left segment, you are safe. But if what you are doing is within this right-hand side, you are not safe. You are not safe. So the left-hand side represents all the jobs that are going to grow in the next coming years, while the right-hand side represents jobs that are going to decline in the next coming years. Okay, so Claire, remember I told you that we got these 8 courses by looking at the ones that have ease of learning, ease of transitioning, and of course, high rewarding salary. Now, let's look at some of the courses that we are not offering. For instance, let's look at these middle people here. Okay, we have your DevOps engineer, you have your renewable energy engineers, you have your robotics engineers, you have the blockchain developers. Now, these are amazing career paths. They are amazing career paths. But are they paths that you can get into within a space of 3 to 6 months? The answer is no. So if you're looking to be a robotics engineer, DevOps engineer, you're looking at nothing less than 18 months for you to be able to get the skill set to transition to this career path. Now, that does not represent ease of learning, okay? Because I believe that most of us on this call right now, we're not looking to do a course that is 2 years plus before we can be able to land a job. We're looking for something that we should be able to get accustomed to within a space of 3 to 6 months and be able to land jobs. That is why we don't offer some of these career paths. For instance, robotics engineer, blockchain, they are amazing career paths. But for you to get into those spaces, you're not looking at anything less than 18 months. Okay, I hope I've been able to explain this explicitly for us to be able to understand how this works. Now, remember what I said, the left-hand side represents jobs that are going to grow, While the right-hand side represents jobs that are going to decline. On the next page, you're also going to see the other jobs that also will grow. That's your business intelligence analyst, which also represents your data analysts. You're seeing your database architects, still your data engineers, your project managers, which is now tilting towards agile project management. Of course, your management and organization analyst, which is simply your business analyst. Now, let's look at the right-hand side. If you look at the right-hand side, you are going to see the jobs that will decline. So the fastest declining job as of today is the postal service clerks. Okay, it is the fastest declining jobs. And of course, we have bank tellers and clerks. We have data entry clerks and so on and so forth. So if you look at the fastest declining jobs from here downwards, they have one thing in common. They are all related to clerks. Okay, and why are clerks being redundant? The answer is simple. For people like myself, I have a virtual assistant. Okay, VA is what now everyone is now tilting towards. Now, my virtual assistant assists me with every single activity that should set me up for my day. Okay, which means I don't have need to have someone at front office serving as a clerk because I have a virtual assistant already. So because of all these advent of things that the new economy is bringing up, some of these clerk-related roles are now becoming redundant. They are now becoming redundant. The one that got me by surprise is the graphic designers. When I saw graphic designers as part of the jobs that will decline, I was shocked. I was shocked because it's part of the career path that I believe that people still need. But what did I realize? I realized that if you remain just a graphic designer, you are going to have challenges. You are going to have challenges. And that's because one is most things that a graphic designer can do easily. There are AIs that can do it for you right now. Okay. So I made a post today. Can you believe that every single thing I designed on that carousel that I posted on my Instagram today, I simply used ChatGPT to do it. And this is not me trying to, take away what graphic designers are doing, but ChatGPT was able to give me every single thing, 8 different graphics that I posted today within a space of 5 minutes. All I did was I typed all the things that I need, the content and how I want it to look, make it minimalistic, use black and white, and so on and so forth, and straight to ChatGPT. And it gave me the carousel post that I made. Okay. And this singular activity that AIs are now doing means that graphic designers are now becoming redundant. But how can a graphic designer make sure that to improve themselves? It's simple. To add the new things that are trending. I saw someone that mentioned the content in the comment section that he or she is a creative director. How can she or he get into the tech space? All right. So people like this, you already have that creative mindset. The creativity is already embedded in you. And one thing that graphic designers have in common is they have visual understanding of things. And people that communicate information in visual appealing manner is simply your data analyst. Okay, so people in this direction can decide to be adding all these other skill sets to their self to be able to improve whom they are. Okay, Oluwanifemi is asking, can we get the recording of this meeting? Fantastic, yes. So after this session, we're going to send the recorded version to everyone on this call. But for we to send it to you, you need to fill the attendance form that my colleague Fee is dropping, because that's where we'll get your email and then can easily mail you the slide and also the recording of this discussion. When you get the slide, you can simply click here to download the full report and read one by one the entire report of what happened in the World Economic Forum. Okay, so once you get the slide, just click here that I wrote, click here to download full report. Once you click on it, you are going to have access to the entire report and then can easily download it. Now, another one that also struck me is legal officials. Okay, we have legal officials here. So this simply means that legal officials are also declining. They are also declining. And it's simple because I don't know how to put it because I don't want to be dragged to court. All right. But we all know the reason why legal professionals, it is highly declining right now. And it's from the World Economic Forum report. I'm not the one that says so. Okay, so as legal practitioners, there's one thing that you all have in common already. Okay, one is that you have that vocal eloquence. You are eloquent, right? So it simply means that you can easily transition to a career path that will require you to speak more to people. And that also has to do with business analysis, because anyone getting into business analysis should be ready to speak to people. Or you can decide to transition towards GRC, which is governance, risk, and compliance. Okay, but for that aspect, which is entirely cybersecurity, that means you need to have a little bit of technicalities under your own belt. Okay, so every declining career path, there's an element of tech that you can infuse in it to be able to move towards the career path that's constantly in demand. Okay, I hope that makes sense to everyone right now. I'm already in data engineering training. How can you help? Adekunle Kazim. Okay, Adekunle, your question, I don't know, since you're already in training, what I advise you to do is reach out to your coordinator, tell the coordinator that you want to speak to me directly. That's if you realize that you've made a mistake in a career path that you've selected. Okay, reach out to your coordinator and we're going to have a one-on-one discussion to find a way to, realign your own direction as fast as possible. I hope that makes sense to you, Adekunle. Okay, now for all these career paths that I've been mentioning since, for instance, you want to get into data analytics. Does it mean that you're going to be boxed just as a data analyst? Okay, does it mean that you are just going to be boxed just as a data analyst? The answer is no. Because as a data analyst, you can comfortably work as a business intelligence analyst, can comfortably work as a marketing analyst, can also work as a sales analyst, operations analyst, supply chain analyst, and so much more. Okay, so you are not boxed to one direction. What I always advise you to do is when you are looking for a job, look for a job with the skills and the tools that you can use, and not just with the title. All right, so for each of these headed courses that you can see here, there are different subheading of courses that you can also be able to apply to jobs in those spaces. All right, let me give us an example. HR officers. At the beginning of my career, I know we used to call them, was it HR? Yeah, I think it's HR. Then at a point, it transitioned to HRBP. After a while, it's now moved to human capital. After a while, it's moved to something relating to people and culture. So there are different names that they call themselves. Okay, but if you are just a HR analyst and you're looking for jobs with the title HR analyst, it means that you are going to lose out on all those modernized terminologies. Okay, the one I saw last month, what they said is that they need a chief of staff. I was now looking through the job description of the chief of staff. I realized that they need a HR. Okay, they need a HR, and all those things are just terminology. So whenever you are looking for jobs, make sure that you look for a job using the skill sets that you already have. Okay, make sure that you look for jobs using those skill sets. All right. Now, clearly, when you get the slide, you can also look through one after the other to see the different career path that you can personally decide to transition into. I hope that makes sense to everyone. And then the monetary aspect. There's one thing I always tell people is that don't look at the money when you're trying to get into tech. I know people are not going to listen. Don't look at money when you're trying to break into the tech career paths, because money flows in all those career paths. Okay, it's going to get to everyone. So don't concentrate on which one is going to give you the highest income. Concentrate on which one do you have that skill set already to get into. For instance, business analysts in UK, the average salary is as high as 52,500. Okay, Canada is as high as 74,462, and then US is as high as 85,874. Okay, data analytics, it's also as high as 40,000 pounds, $64,000 dollars in Canada, and also $72,000 in the United States of America. Same thing as data science, they all have high income. Okay, if you are looking at it from what we have, you can easily see that cybersecurity and data engineering has the highest possibilities of income right here. But let's play this scenario, all right? Let's assume that you are a cybersecurity professional and you are working in, which example am I going to use now? you are working in the hospitality space as a cybersecurity professional to make sure that their IT system is up, that they are not having any external interference into their own infrastructure. You work for a hospitality industry. And then there's somebody else that is a data analyst, and this person works in oil and gas. Which person do you think is going to earn more? The cybersecurity professional working in the hospitality sector, or the data analyst working in oil and gas? Who do we think is going to earn more? Let me even hear people that will have here. Just put it in the comment section so that I can also use it to gauge if people are also listening to what I am saying. Dede said oil and gas. iPhone said oil and gas. Fantastic. Adero said oil and gas. Tosin the same thing. Everyone is mentioning oil and gas. All right. Okay. Odira said the cybersecurity will earn more. Fantastic. Now, to be honest with you, from what I have seen, the oil and gas person is definitely going to earn more. All right. But look at their average income, right? The data analyst average in UK is £40,000. In Canada is £4,000. In US is £72,000. The cybersecurity in UK is £57,000. In Canada is as high as 140,000 Canadian dollars. And then in US it's as high as 105 US dollars. But now it also depends on the sector of the economy that you find yourself. Okay, so if the data analyst is now in oil and gas, and this cybersecurity person is in hospitality, there's high possibility that the data analyst will earn higher than the cybersecurity professional. Okay, so which is why I always tell people, when you are looking for a job, don't concentrate on the money, right? Concentrate on the skill, the one that you have that can make it easy for you to break into the industry. Because once you have the skill, as a data analyst, for an example, you can work in educational space, you can work in construction, you can work in financials, you can work in oil and gas. It now depends on the sector of the economy that you find yourself. But one thing is certain, they are all going to make you to survive easily. Okay, they're going to give you money to survive easily. For instance, in UK alone, all the career paths that we have here, for you to get certificate of sponsorship, that's your COS, I think I start, last time I checked, it should be around, I think 38,700 pounds in UK. So which means any job that I want to get into should at least pay you 38,700 pounds for you to be able to get your COS. Now, if you look at all these career paths here, you can also see that they all met that criteria. So what this simply means is that if you're also looking for sponsorships, for jobs that will also give you sponsorships, the tech industry is also the answer. Because no matter any of them that you get into, it is definitely going to be above what the COS requirement is for. Now, what's the sixth strategy that you need to take for you to land a job? Okay, I believe that right now we've been able to see where the jobs are. We've been able to see how to also utilize our initial work experience. Okay, but before I jump into the 6-step strategy, the COS issue is not easy now. I believe you, Samuel. I believe you 100%. But I'm still going to get to that. All right. Before I jump into the 6-step strategy that can help you land a job, how many of us have already identified a career path that we want to get into? Right? If you already identified a career path that you want to get into, feel free to put it in the comment section so that I'll also be able to know and gauge the health of my audience and see where they are at right now. Okay, Sherry said project management, fantastic. It's an amazing career path. All right, can see a couple of people. Promise also mentioned data analytics, Chidozie, Agile project management and Scrum, Boade data analytics, data analyst rather, and Benedicta financial analyst, CB. Agatha said CB. Trying to think career path that is CB. Okay, Chidera said data analytics. A lot of people, project management, data, business analysis. I'm torn between cybersecurity solutions actor and systems administrator. That's Odera. Fantastic. Now, Odera, what you need to know is you are in between the cybersecurity space. All right. As a cybersecurity professional can function as a systems administrator. if you have the right skills. Okay, if you have the right skills. So you are already in that space. So I'm happy that a lot of us have been able to choose a career path. Okay, I've identified mine before coming, before I enforce it, data analysis, fantastic Tosin. Now, I'm happy that we've all identified a career path. If you've not, we will have those one-on-one sessions with you to help you choose a career path that is very, very suitable for you. Okay, what is the difference between data analytics and data engineering? Fantastic, Bob. I've been waiting for someone to ask me this because for some people, they may not really understand all these things, data analytics, data engineering, data science, and so on and so forth. So they need that explanation. So I'm going to say explain it for everyone. Because for instance, I studied civil engineering first degree. And one thing I realized is that everyone that did engineering as a first degree, if they're trying to break into the tech space, they are always tilting towards that data engineering. And it's for one reason. That is because they want to maintain their engineering name. Oh, I studied civil engineering, I studied mechanical engineering. I want to be in data engineering so that I can stay answer engineer. It is highly irrelevant. It is highly irrelevant. So I will explain all those career paths so that we can easily be able to identify the one that suits us the most. Okay? Is there a schedule for the one-on-one engagement? Okay, so Emeka, namesake, the answer to that is no. So it's like a calendar link where you select a time that's suitable for you. Okay, you book it in the Clarity call, and then you have myself and my team will be there to break out people into several rooms for us to be able to answer your questions faster. Okay, so it's a calendar link where you book a time slot for yourself so that I can also be able to attend to everyone accordingly. So after this meeting today, it's going to be shared in all the groups that you are coming through, and we will make sure to have in those Clarity call. Now, the 6-step strategy that you need to take if you are looking to land a job is number one, is to identify your desired tech career path. Okay, identify your desired tech career path. Now, that's why I asked how many of us have been able to identify ours. That is amazing. Okay, because if you've not, that is already a flaw. One of the major mistakes that we all make when trying to get into the tech space is that you will hear about SQL, you jump and learn. You hear about Jira, you jump and learn. You hear about Python, you jump and learn. So there is no pattern to where you are. There's no direction to your journey. And like we all know, direction is very, very important as well as speed. Okay, direction is very, very important. So number one thing that you need to do is to identify your desired career path. Okay, after you've been able to identify this career path, which is number one is for you to identify your desired career path. Number two is now for you to learn the skills that you need to be in that space. So here in analytics, we use two basic approaches to help people get those skills. Number one is we have what we call live instructor-led classes. Okay, so it's a live class where someone like myself will be in the classroom teaching you. Okay, so you have someone, you'll be seeing that person, and the person will be teaching you what you need to know. Okay, and then you have another approach which you call the self-paced approach. Okay, because we have an LMS, so there are also some recorded version of projects that you now need to, on your own, stay and watch those recorded versions and replicate the projects that your facilitator has done. Okay, so two approach. One is you have a live session. Okay, two is you also have self-paced learning materials to go through. All right, and if you miss the live sessions, they are always recorded and uploaded to your classroom. That you can also watch those live sessions as a recorded version after. So this means that you have a lifetime access to every single material that you are going to be coming across. I hope that makes sense to everyone. Now, I have a question for us before I jump to step 3, because this question is going to introduce us to that level 3. You drive a car. I've been battling with my Volkswagen for a while now. Okay, and this question now is for people now. You drive a car and your car spoils. Whom are you going to give your car to repair it for you? Are you going to give it to the person saying, oh, I'm a first class graduate from Harvard University, Or no, I'm just an experienced mechanic. This is my mechanic workshop. I've repaired Volkswagen, I've repaired Aston Martin, I've repaired Benz, I've repaired Toyota. Bring your car, let me repair it for you. Whom are you going to give your car to? The first class graduate from Harvard University or the mechanic showing you a workshop? Okay, so is it going to be this or is it going to be that? So this is a this or that game. Okay, a lot of people are saying experienced mechanic, experienced mechanic, experienced mechanic. Fantastic. Now, here's my own question. Why are we now pursuing certificates? Okay, why are we pursuing certificates? I'm going to tell you guys a story. I studied civil engineering, but today, look at me. I'm running a tech company. My father studied industrial chemistry, and today he's one of the amazing tech people I know. The co-founder also studied economics, and today we are all in the tech ecosystem. This is to show you that certificate is just certificates. All right? What people actually need is that experience. I think in January or February, Elon Musk made a post. He said that if you are a software developer and so on and so forth, they're trying to hire you. And what stood out for me is that he said, we do not care which school you went to. We do not care the company that you've worked with. Just show us your code. So what it translates into is that nobody cares which school you attended. Nobody cares where you got your own certificates from. All people want to know is what can you offer? Okay, what's the experience that you are bringing to them? And I believe that everyone on this call just validated what I just said. Certificate is important for theoretical knowledge. That's fantastic from Chidozie. I agree with you, Chidozie. And just to also reiterate, here you get both theoretical knowledge and the experience. So don't get me wrong. Certificate is very, very important. In fact, after your training here, we're also going to give you certificate, and we are fully accredited. So it is very much important as well as your experience. But let me also tell you something. When I was working as a data analyst in one of the fintechs, one of the top fintechs in Nigeria, right? My CTO, he didn't go to any university. That's my chief technology officer. He did not have university degree. After his secondary education, the guy started coding and he coded. He was roughly 24, 25 years. That should be around 3 or 4 years ago. And he was the CTO of a company because he started coding from a very young age and he can build any app that you can think of. Now, this boy, he doesn't have a university degree, but he was a CTO. Myself, I have MBA. And I was just a data analyst. Now, this is to tell you, when it comes to skill of preference, the one that recruiters are looking for. When it comes to skill of preference, certificates or skill and experience, everyone knows what they are going to go for. Okay, and that is where it boils down to, right? That is where it boils down to. Certificate is important, but it is simply a validation of a skill that you already have. It's a validation of a knowledge that you already have. Okay, but what you see today is certificates without skill. For instance, like I said earlier, I'm a civil engineer by education. So there's no how I can now come out and start looking for a job as a data analyst without having the skill of a data analyst. All right. So my certificate alone is just simply going to show that I'm educated. But is it enough for me to land that job that I'm looking for? The answer is no. Okay. So that brings me to my number 3, which is what employers actually want is just 2 things. Number 1 is skills, and number 2 is experience. Number 1 thing that recruiters are looking for is 1 is skill and 2 experience. I had a couple of people a couple of months back, and everyone had their probation period because it's simple. You have 2-3 months probation period for you to show that you are amazing with what you can do and so on and so forth. Because recruiters are not hiring you to start training you from afresh. The belief is that you already have the skill. So the only thing that you are going to be taught is how are things now being done in this space. Nobody is going to hire you as a data analyst if you are saying that you're just an enthusiast. All right. So I was asking my friend that a very important question. You went to a hospital, all right, and the doctor is telling you, "Oh, I'm a medical enthusiast." Are you not going to run away? So this was a very important discussion that we had in one of the panel sessions I was sitting on a couple of weeks back. You went to the hospital, and the doctor you met said, "Oh, I'm a medical enthusiast," and so on and so forth. That is what we hear in this tech space. "Oh, I'm a data analytics enthusiast. I'm a cybersecurity enthusiast. I'm this enthusiast." You are not going to be hired because the belief is that this person is just simply trying to learn. He's just enthusiastic about the course. But if you go to a hospital and the person said, "Oh, I have my, I'm a medical practitioner. I'm the one that's in charge of your case here in the hospital," you're going to have a sigh of relief. And that same way, if you're trying to hire someone, the person is telling you, "Oh, I'm a data analyst and I've been able to work on this project," and so on and so forth. The recruiting manager will also be at peace and know that, oh, there is something to take here. But when you come with that mindset of, "Oh, I'm just a tech enthusiast," nobody's going to take you serious because we also take things serious in the tech ecosystem. And nobody wants to hire you and start training you from the initial skills. So recruiters are now looking for experience and skill. And how can you get this experience and skill easily? That's where level 3 comes in. To gain project-based experience, level 3, gain project-based experience. So here at Analytics, every project that you are going to be working on, they are all real-life case studies. So because we also play in the consulting space, when we get contractual services from our clients, our students also work on those projects. Now, this is how you build your experience without having experience. Why do some companies want employees with no experience? Also, how are we meant to get the skills and experience? Okay, fantastic, I don't know, I hope I didn't murder your name. Now, that's what I'm trying to explain. You have to gain project-based experience. Okay, that's how you speak about the experience that I've been able to get before now. So this is the portfolio of a past data analyst with us here at Analytics. And if you look at this person's portfolio, you can see that she worked on Deep Care Hospital ER visit analysis. She worked on Redox airline flight analysis. She worked on Express Tech food delivery. She worked on Nestle product analysis, and she worked on Zenith Electronics. Now, these are 5 different projects. Let's look at it by sector of the economy. She worked in the health sector. She worked in aviation sector. She worked in supply chain sector. She worked in what do we call this Nestle product again? Fast moving goods, FMCG. Yeah, she worked in FMCG, right? And she also worked in the tech sector. Now, these are 5 different sectors of the economy, right? These are 5 different sectors of the economy. Now, if you look at each of them, you can clearly see, let me click on the health sector on. So when you click on any of them, you can see what she did with respect to the health sector. So if Victoria goes for any interview now, she can easily say, "Oh, I'm a data analyst and I've worked in a couple of projects. I've worked in the health sector, I've worked in the aviation sector, I've worked in supply chain, I've worked in FMCG, and I've worked in the tech ecosystem as well." When I was working in the health sector, I worked in the ER hospital visit analysis of a company. And right there, I identified that the number of patients that they had for the entire year was around 9,000, was close to 10,000, right? And the average waiting time they had was roughly 35 minutes, 26 seconds. And my pain point was, how do I reduce that average waiting minutes? Because 35 minutes is a long time for a patient to wait. So in Q1 alone, I was able to do this, I was able to do that. So let's look at the Q1 reports, because everything here, they're all interactive. So in Q1, I was able to identify where the bottlenecks were, and the total number of patients that we had then was 1,450, with average waiting time of 36 minutes, 27 seconds. I did this, I did that. That led to us having an improvement in Q2. Because in Q2, we now had an improved number of patients that visited this hospital. We had something close to 2,938 with an improved waiting time of 35 minutes, 22 seconds. And because of this, because of the improved average waiting time, it's improved our turnover and in the end, improved our revenue. So when you speak like this, to recruiters. There is no how. They're not going to see you as someone that has an experience. Okay, there's no how they're not going to see you as someone that has an experience. But what we see today is always a case of possibly you have Excel understanding, Power BI understanding, SQL understanding, but you don't have projects, you don't have things that you've worked on, you don't have the packaging to also speak. They are all challenges. You don't have the packaging to also speak. Because remember, this Victoria, she has worked on these 5 projects. But if she's not, confident enough to also speak on them, she's going to be seen as someone that lacks merit. She is going to be seen that, oh, it's one of those people that will just go to those places, get the skill, and they don't really know what they learned. So most important thing is for you to learn the skill, get the project-based experience, and of course, there are mentorship strengths that we have to also boost eloquence. Because one major mistake that I've seen that most of us in the tech ecosystem have is that we are all amazing people when it comes to technicalities. But when we ask us to speak, that's where challenges lie. So remember, number 14 I mentioned is around gaining project-based experience. So no matter the sector that you're moving towards, gaining that experience is very, very important because that is what is you are going to be needing if you are going to be speaking to people. I think there's a long message here from Samuel. I don't know if I can be able to read this because it's so long. If you really have work, you use it for your project portfolio. John, yes, if you have a website, you can actively use it as your portfolio. Okay. Samuel is asking, I have done a data analytics program. I have been on job search for a year. At this point, I'm confident in the need of COS. I teach my mates, coach them for interviews, but I'm struggling to land the jobs in the UK. I don't get NHS stability. The role letter got doesn't meet the 3700. Fantastic. I've never gotten an interview in this private sector. Please, I need help. Okay. This is a lot. But just listening, I'm sure by the time I'm done, I must have scratched this challenge that you are having, John. Samuel, rather. I must have scratched it. Right. So, like I said, number 4 is for you to gain product-based experience. Then number 5 is where it gets very, very important, where most of us drop the ball. CV review and revamp, LinkedIn optimization, how do you navigate the job market itself, interview preparation, job reference letters, and on-the-job support, right? So I'm going to speak extensively on this number 5, which is gaining employability skills. Because one key thing that I've also seen is that we all have amazing tech skills, but we have those employability skills that recruiters are looking out for. I'm going to touch base on it also before we finish. And then 6, we have being able to network and also having mentors. Okay, we've had instances where one student moved to a company, and right there in the company, they mentioned that they are looking for another data scientist. And she simply recommended the person in the same cohort with her. And the guy was called, interviewed, and the guy got the job. So you can't underestimate the importance of networking. For instance, we are close to 200 on this call, right? 200 of us, when we join our different cohorts, can easily meet people from UK, people in US, people in Canada, and so different countries. That's networking alone. And there's one adage that we have in this space, which is your network is also your net worth. All right. So if you are a sole runner in the tech space, there are instances where you may not easily land those things that you are looking for. And then also mentorship. Personally, I struggled because I got into the tech space without having a mentor. And I was just going round and round. For 2 years, I was struggling to land a job. Okay, so it's not something that also comes easy, Samuel. I was struggling. Now, the importance of mentors is that they are going to now teach you and walk you through some of the challenges that they had their own time to make sure that you do not make that same mistake, right? So once you've been able to apply all these 7 steps, remember, first one is to identify the skill, okay? Identify the skill. Then second one is for you to learn the skill that you've been able to identify. Then 3 is to gain project-based experience. 4 is employee sessions. 5 is networking. And then 6 is mentorship. And then it's going to bring you to this level, which is you have gotten the job. It's not going to come easy. All right. I know sometimes when we speak like this, it sounds like it's an easy thing. Ikmat that I mentioned one time, Ikmat got a job. 1 month after joining our own program. But she was not able to take it because she was still a student in UK, which means she had limited working hours. When she finished her own program, she now struggled to land a job. It took her 2 months plus before she was able to land a job that now gave her what she was looking for. So I'm not saying all these things to make you feel like it's going to be easy. The truth is that it's not going to be easy. That is the truth. It's not going to be easy. But then, if you don't have the skill, it's going to be harder. Okay, if you don't get the skill and trained, it's going to be harder. All right, moving on. This same strategy that I mentioned, the 6-step strategy, that's what we've used for a lot of people to get all these success stories. You can see the one I have on my screen right now. So I love this exact testimonial. Someone mentioned, hello, Priscilla, Happy New Year. This happened around late January. I'm overwhelmed, but with good news. I have 3 job interviews. Most importantly, I have an interview with SAS Energy for HR data analyst role. For one of the jobs you posted, I need your help preparing for this interview as I really want to prepare this particular job. And I can see 2 things embedded inside this testimonial. One of the jobs you posted and also help preparing for interview. Now, week on week, we script several job boards and we present it to our students to apply to those jobs. And when you land an interview invite, we also prepare you for those interviews. Okay, it's also something that is very, very relevant. And you can see a couple of weeks later, she came back, I got the job. This is what we consider as success here at Analytics. Okay, this is what we consider as success. And other success stories of people coming back to ask for testimonials, coming back to ask for reference letters. So Samuel, reference letter is very, very important. So you may want to make sure that you have places that should be able to say, oh, Samuel has worked with us as a data analyst. Because everyone that worked or trains with us, by virtue of training with us, you are a consultant, right? So we don't even advise them to say, oh, I was training with Analytics. No. Say, while you were consulting with Analytics, you worked on this project. Because in actual sense, you are consulting with us. So most of those projects that you'll be handling, they are all real life projects that you are going to be working on. So these are all success stories of people that have been before you. And all these things always seem impossible until it is done. So you can see people like Adetayo. Adetayo got a role as a cybersecurity professional after training between 60 to 70%, which means he not concluded his own training and he landed a job. All right. Within 60 to 70% training, he landed a job, and other people that had this same success story. So when you get the slide, please go through it personally and be able to understand. Abigail used to be a care worker in Canada. She took the data and the business analysis program, and right now she worked as a business analysis manager with the government of Alberta in Canada as well. So this can also be your story. But remember, first thing is for you to identify your own career path. The number 2 is for you to now learn the skill. Now, this aspect of learning the skill is what I want to explain right now. Okay, when you want to learn the skills, what are you actually in for? For instance, as a business analyst, this is the point where I expect everyone to bring out their pen and paper, okay, to be able to write down most of these things. As a business analyst, who exactly are you? Okay, so simply put, business analysts are simply people that come into organizations to make sense of their processes and optimize it. Okay, so they come into the company to optimize the process and make it better, which means you make the process, let's say, as level 1, you're going to improve it to level 2. Okay, so for instance, let me give an example. As far back as 2012-13, if you walk into a Nigerian bank, you're going to notice a long queue because so many people are trying to get into the man trap door. You queue up, get to the teller point, pick a form, go out or shift aside, fill the form, come back, queue again to perform that transaction. Business analysts saw this and said, how do we make this process better? They introduced the form shelf that once you are walking into the hall, you're seeing the shelf, you're picking your form, you're filling it and going to perform the transaction. They introduce things like bulk room, that if you have certain threshold of money that you want to deposit, you are taken to a different room. And now it's led to agency banking and so many things that even without walking into the banking hall, you can perform your roles. So these are all what business analysts do. They are constantly looking for ways to improve the processes in all the organizations that they find themselves in. Now, what exactly are you going to be learning as a business analyst? First thing as a business analyst that you're going to learn is Excel, Power BI, and SQL. Now, these are all data analytics tools. All right, data analytics tools. But what we realize is that recruiters are now even looking for business analysts with data understanding. Okay, so this person is a business analyst, but they can make sense of data. That is why it is important for you as a business analyst to learn Excel, learn Power BI, and also learn SQL. The next thing is you are going to be learning process mapping. So how do you map out processes and identify the different touch points that the customer has walked through? That is where Lucidchart and Draw.io comes in. So you're going to be learning how to utilize these tools as well. Then once you've identified a project that needs to be improved, the process of initiating that project that you want to now work on is now what we call project initiation planning. So you as a business analyst need to understand how to initiate projects. And of course, the framework that is very suitable for you to work on projects in the tech ecosystem is always the Agile and Scrum for projects, which means you are learning this course that's a borrowed course from project management. Then, of course, you're now moving towards your SDLC, software development lifecycle, then understanding your requirements fundamentals, elicitation methods. How do you elicit information from various stakeholders within the business, and also stakeholder analysis and ChatGPT for business analysis. Now, this is your core business analysis role. Now, what this simply means is that when you are done training as a business analyst, you can pursue roles that exist in data analytics. You can pursue roles that exist in project management, as well as pursue roles that exist in business analysis. Okay? So if you're someone that you've worked as a quality assurance, you've worked as an internal auditor, you've worked as a lawyer, you've worked as a teacher, any of those spaces, or an administrative officer, any of those roles that you've done in the past that made you to have constant interaction with people, constant speaking to a lot of people within the business, and also you are in charge of also making sure that processes are in order, then you should be looking towards business analysis, right? But remember, all business analysts, you are going to talk a lot. So if you're someone that you don't like speaking to your colleagues, you don't like talking to people, you should not be looking towards business analysis, all right? You should not be looking towards business analysis. And for all the things I've mentioned, the program, the classes are just on Saturdays alone, right? For instance, this Saturday, you're having a live class. Next Saturday, you're having a self-paced. And you have both morning class and the evening class. Morning class is by 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. The evening class is by 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. Now, if you are in UK, Europe, or Africa, right, the morning class will be more suitable for you because of the timing. Then if you're in North America, that's the Canadians and the US people, then the 6 p.m. class, West African time, will be okay for you because that should be around 10 a.m. Mountain time, right? So you can only be in one class, okay? Either you're in the morning class or you are in the evening class. I hope that makes sense for everyone. And the training timeline is for 8 months. So you're going to be in the classroom for 6 months, learning all these key learning areas, and then have an internship experience for 2 months after. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to wait till after 6 months before you start applying to jobs. No. What it simply means is that after 2 months, you are expected to actually start applying to roles. For instance, once after 2 months, you should be done with Excel, Power BI, and SQL. And as a business analyst, we expect you to start applying to roles that exist in the data analyst space. Okay, do we learn all the 9 skills during the class? Yes, Ranti, yeah, you learn all of them. Okay, you learn all of them. So which means after 2 months, we expect you to start applying to all these data analytics jobs. Then after maybe 4 months, we expect you to now include applying to project management jobs. After 6 months, we expect you to be able to apply to any of these 3 jobs. So you don't wait till the end of your own tenure before you start applying to roles. So someone is asking me, Babatunde, how about people in Australia? What time works for them? So let me check the Australian time right now. Australian time right now. Okay, so now in Australia, that should be around 6:20 in Australia. So 6:20 in Australia means you have roughly 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, which means the 11 a.m. session will be suitable for you. So if it's 11 a.m. in Nigeria, that should be roughly around 8 a.m. in Australia. Okay, which means it's also suitable for you to join by 8 a.m. So which means your session will now be from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Australian time. So why we use West African time is for everyone to now do their own conversion, because I'm now seeing a lot of countries asking me to convert for them. Okay, so we use West African time so that everyone can now do the conversion and see the one that suits them easily. Okay, it's simply the class is 11 a.m. West African time and then 6 p.m. West African time. When you find out how your own time differences are, you can now be able to find the one that works for you. But we realize that it will definitely be either your morning or your evening, which means one will suit your own schedule. Okay, so Chia is asking how about UAE, right? So quickly, let me just check for UAE as well and see as well. Okay, that should be 9, 10, 11, 12. That should be 3 hours ahead as well, which means if it's 11 a.m. in Nigerian West African time, it should be 11, 12, 1, 2. It should be 2 p.m. in UAE as well. So Chia, which means from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., that should be when your own class, the morning class should be happening, which is 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And then the evening class in UAE should be around 6, 7, 8, 9, should be around 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. So you can see either 2 to 5 or 9 to 12 midnight. So you can easily find the one that also suits your own schedule. So what we try to do is make sure that one is in your morning and one is during your own daytime and one is also during your own night time. So you can easily find a befitting time. When will the training start in UK also? What is the code? Okay, Lawson. All right, like I said, the training is for 8 months and it's for 8 months. We start cohorts every first Saturday of the month. Okay, I think I'm able to take a couple of questions here. Can you help to cover that for our application that's this month? Okay, I'll still come to that later. Now, the next course is Agile Project Management. Now, Agile Project Managers are simply people that can serve as leaders and coach with the project management team. Now, your responsibility is to make sure that everyone is working using the Agile methods. All right? Agile method is just an iterative way of working to make sure that people work using a more streamlined processes. For instance, one of the Agile methodologies that we can find as of today is something like WhatsApp. Years back, WhatsApp didn't have something like status, but today they've been able to work on increments that now involve status. Months back, you cannot add music to your WhatsApp post. But as of today, if you're making a post on WhatsApp on your status, you can put a music attached to it. This means that they do not run a waterfall aspect of projects. They did what we call agile project management style. Okay, they work on a project that had continuity, which means constantly they're bringing things from their product backlog and then throwing it into sprints and working on that increment. Okay, so what it simply means is that they are constantly evolving. And that is the best approach to most projects that's involved in the tech space, because you want to be in a place where you are constantly evolving. Now, as an agile project manager, you're going to be learning the different methods and structures rather. Also be learning the skills and how to communicate. And of course, you are the full owner of Agile and Scrum. So you're going to understand it fully, and also the Scrum artifacts, your product backlog, your sprint planning, your incremental plan, and so on and so forth. And as well as how do you utilize Jira and Confluence. So the tools that you are going to be learning is Confluence and Jira, as well as Trello. Okay. Then you also have to learn Kanban boards for workflow management, as well as your velocity burn up and burn down charts, and Nexus Scale Scrum, which is how do you manage multiple projects iteratively. Then everything that you've learned will prepare you for your professional Scrum Master examination. Okay, so when you hear about the no code area in tech, no code area in tech, we're talking about the Agile Project Management and Scrum Master. So if you're looking at for the tech career path to get into, that you are not going to be doing anything technical. It's all about read, understand, and apply your leadership skills to make sure people are working with all those things that you've said. You should be going towards Agile Project Management. The learning timeline is the same. The morning class, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. The evening class, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. And then timeline for the training is also 8 months. 6 months classroom learning, and then 2 months internship. Now, let's look at the data engineering. I hope we are still following me to this very moment because I'm trying to explain all those career paths. Are we still here with me to this moment? Then be sure that people are still listening to what I am saying. I don't know if I'm talking to myself. Okay, thank you, Adinoluwa. Thank you, Odera. Thank you, Tosin. So for data engineers, one is that data engineering is very, very heavy on coding, right? It is very, very heavy on coding. So if you are looking to be in the career path where you are going to write lines of code, be on your own in the back end, then you should be looking at data engineering. Okay, so these are people that their responsibility is to make sure that information, that data is made available within the ecosystem. So I'm going to give us an example. If you use any banking services or any financial app right now, you can make transactions using USSD. You can make transactions using mobile app. You can do transactions using internet banking. You can use your card as well, card transactions, right? Now, no matter any of these platforms that you utilize, at any point that you walk into the banking hall, you want to see your actual balance. You don't want to see, oh, because you used USSD, this is your USSD balance. Because you used mobile app, this is your mobile app balance. No, everything comes to a pool and is now being one data. So what data engineers are responsible for is to make sure that data is extracted from so many sources, bring it to an IDE, which we call Integrated Development Environment, which can be your Jupyter Notebook or your Google Colab and so on and so forth, all right? So once you transform it here, can now load this data back to a database. Can now load it back to a database. So what data engineers are responsible for is to extract data from sources, extract data, transform this data, and then load it. So let's also say a data engineer wants to know the prices of laptops on Jumia. So maybe he run a code to scrape Jumia websites and scrape everything there. Then in his Jupyter Notebook, he transforms it and then load it to a database that every morning, maybe the salespeople can just click a button and they will see the prices of all the laptops that is being sold on Jumia. Now, this is simply what data engineers are responsible for. So they are like plumbers in construction companies, plumbers that make sure that water flows throughout the compound. If you open your shower, water flows. If you open your tap, water flows. If you flush, water flows. So that's how data engineers make sure that data flows through the data ecosystem. All right. Once anybody comes to the front end and puts, oh, I want to check my balance, it comes up. Once data analyst calls up for something, it flows because someone has built the pipeline and architecture to make sure that those things happen. So what we are going to be learning starts with introduction to data engineering, which is understanding data lifecycle management and also data architecture. Right, then you move on to SQL, which is structured query language, and learn Python programming. Okay, so you're also going to move to Linux operating system. So it's not just Windows OS or Mac OS that you'll be learning. You move towards Linux operating system. And then how do you build a constant ETL pipeline that I've just said? Then all these things that I've also said, how do you automate it to make sure that it flows seamlessly? That's where Apache Spark, and also Apache Airflow coming. We're also going to be taught cloud engineering, which has to do with GCP, Azure, and AWS. So you're going to learn this as well as version control using GitHub and ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot. So all these things are what we are going to be giving you as a data engineer. I have a couple of questions. Can a student in year 2 of a bachelor's degree program join this program? Fantastic. We've had, I think the youngest person we've had, she was 15 years. And I think she was just about to enter university before she joined us. And the oldest person we've had, he was 67 years. So there's no really age background here. Okay? There's no really age background here. So for data engineering as well, the timeline is the same thing for everyone. The morning class, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., evening class, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., all in West African time. All right? Then the learning option is also the same thing, 8 months. We learn the classroom for 6 months, and they have an internship experience for 2 months. Okay, how many times do you have classes within a month? So Kofi, most likely we're going to be having class at least twice a month. But I'm going to explain this better. So every month, this Saturday you're having a live class. Next Saturday you're having a what's it called? Watch me do it video, self-paced to watch. But during the week, there's what we call drop-in sessions. They're like revision classes. So you've had your live classes on Saturday. During the week on Wednesdays, 9 p.m., you have what we call revision class to revisit what you've already been taught. Then on those weekends that you're also not having a live class, you're also having a revision class to revisit what you've also done. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense to you. So even when you're not having a live class, you're having a revision class because all our programs are from beginner level to advanced level. So we expect people that do not even have any skill, which means some people are going to be fast learners, some are going to be slow learners. That's why we have all those revision classes to make sure that we are able to drag everyone up. And all the sessions are recorded. So for instance, after this session that we're having now is recorded and it's going to be sent to you. So that's how all the classes are. The live classes are also recorded, and after each session is now also going to be uploaded to your classroom. So you can now have access to it and watch it from there. I hope that makes sense to you. I have no tech background. Do you think this is for me? Babatunde, 100%. Myself, when I started, I didn't have any tech background. I studied civil engineering. Okay, today I'm CEO of a tech company. Right, so it is possible for you. It's simply you being able to put your mind into it and say that this is where you want to be. Okay, so moving on. If I keep taking all these questions, I'm not going to explain everything I have. And trust me, your questions are already, answers to your questions are already on my slide. All right, for data analysts, I think I've explained it a little bit earlier. These are simply people that what they are meant to do is to answer 2 basic questions, and that is descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics, which simply stands for what happened and why it happened. So I'm going to give us an example. Let's say that on this call, as an example, now we have close to 200 people on the call, and we've noticed that maybe 50 people joined from UK. We had maybe another 50 people join from US, and then maybe let's say 20 people from Nigeria, and then let's say 20 people from Canada. Okay, so let me increase the number to make it up to 200, 50, 50, 50. Let's say 150, okay, let's say 100 joined from UK, 50 from here, and then 20 from here, okay? Let's say 10 others from Ghana. Now, this is what the data is telling us. This is what the data analyst is telling us, that after this call, 100 people join from UK, 50 from this one, so on and so forth. Now, this is answer to what happened. The data analyst has been able to tell us what happened, but it is not sufficient for us to make decisions. So we expect the data analyst to also tell us, why is this so? Why did this happen like this? So possibly he might be able to now start looking at, okay, what did the marketing guys do? Did they post more in the UK region than in the US and other regions? Did they advertise? Oh, someone said they can't hear me. Please, let's confirm that we can hear me. Hassan just said that he can't hear me. Please, let's confirm if we can hear me. Can anyone hear me? Okay, thank you, Adnolua. Hassan, you may want to drop off and join back so that we are sure, so they can be able to hear us clearly, okay? Just drop off and come back. like I was saying, a data analyst is now going to say, okay, did we advertise more in UK? Did we advertise more in US? What did we do to make us have all these 100 people join from UK? All right, so what we now did in UK is now what he's now going to recommend for us to replicate in Canada. So simply put, he's been able to look at what happened and why it happened to be able to give us recommendations. So that is simply what data analysts do. They come to businesses to look at what happened and why it happened to be able to give recommendation. And first thing that you're going to understand is problem solving, because you're coming to this business to solve a problem. So you are going to be taught the different techniques to solve a problem, as well as understanding Excel from basic to advanced level, SQL from basic to advanced level, Power BI and Tableau, the same thing. And also, how do you tell a story? Okay, so I'm very, very great telling a story because I used to be a data analyst. I'm sure if you join this session and I started telling you, oh, the price for this thing is this and this one is that, trust me, a lot of you are not going to be here. But because I've been able to take you on a journey, starting from the different ways that you can utilize your initial experience, move you towards the jobs that you should apply to, and now explain the skill to. It is a story that I'm telling you, and everyone can easily flow with it. So as a data analyst, you are taught how to be able to tell a story so they can be able to talk to your stakeholders as well. So, and also you're going to be taught ChatGPT for analytics and HR analytics. I'm going to post a lecture video on data analytics and cyber course. Hassan, I don't understand what that means. You want to rephrase your question. So these are what we're also going to be putting you through in data analytics. The class time is the same thing, and the learning option is also 8 months. Now, next one is data science. Now, data scientists answer 3 basic questions, and that is descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, and then predictive analytics. So this simply means they'll answer what happened, answer why did it happen, and then also be able to predict the future. All right. So there's always these people that feel, oh, for me to be a data scientist, I need to be a data analyst. The answer is no. All right. So if you are a data analyst and you are trying to get into data science, it will be easier. But it is also possible for you to get in directly to data science straight. You don't have to be a data analyst before you be a data scientist. But if you are someone that you want to start landing, you may not be able to say, okay, let me start from data analytics and then build up to data science or transition to data science. But they are all different career paths. So don't think that, oh, data science is just a senior brother to data analytics. No, they are all on their own lane. And they can always grow from entry level to advanced level in all those career paths. But you need to know that as a data scientists can do everything that a data analyst can do. All right? Remember, that is because they are also answering the same question of what happened and why it happened. So they can do everything that a data analyst can do. But a data analyst will not be able to do everything that a data scientist will be able to do. Now, let me explain. As a data scientist, these are things that you are learning. You are learning Excel, using statistics in Excel, all those your mean, median mode, your measure of central tendency, and so on and so forth. You are learning them. And of course, you now learn forecasting and predictive analytics using Excel. Okay, and also learn Tableau for data analytics as well as SQL, which is for you to be able to analyze database. Okay, so all these different 4 tools that you have been able to learn will prepare you to also be able to work as a data analyst. Right now, you are now adding Python programming to it, which is now where the aspect of building predictive models starts coming in. You're learning Python programming, learning exploratory data analysis, and of course, machine learning and computer vision. So this means that there is now coding embedded into what you are learning. And that is what separates you from a data analyst, because you are learning how to now be able to build predictive models. So it means that you have something that they do not have. And of course, you also have what they have. So if you are someone that you don't mind getting into coding, you should go for data science straight. But if you are entirely new and you are struggling, you don't know whether you're going to succeed or not, then you are going to move. It's better you start from data analytics. Sammy, no, Power BI is not taught in data science, right? Power BI is not taught in data. If Power BI is taught here, it's as good as we are teaching you both data analytics and data science. But that is why Tableau is here. Remember, Tableau is also a visualization tool. And the reason why Tableau is here, not Power BI, is because Tableau has this element of trend prediction in it. And as a data scientist, remember, you are there to also predict the future. So that trend prediction is what is also very, very relevant for you as a data scientist. All right. So okay, I like prediction and forecasting iPhone. That means data science is entirely for you. The learning timeline is also the same thing, and the duration is also the same thing with every other one that I've said. Now, financial analysts are simply data analysts that have specialized in financial data. So here you are learning your core data analytics, while this side, you're now moving towards financial side. So first, you are learning problem solving, you're learning Excel, you're learning Power BI, and also SQL. These are all data analytics tools, which means you are also going to be a data analyst and also a financial analyst. And from here, now taking towards your accounting fundamental, understanding your three statements of financial model, your balance sheet, your cash flow, and then your income statement. Then move to how to build financial analysis, how to build your financial model, and also your valuation, as well as sensitivity and scenario analysis. So if you're someone that has a financial background, banking background, and you want to also be able to remain in that same space and also have tech infused in it, then you should be looking at financial analytics. HR analysts clearly are simply for people that want to be people analysts. So you've been in the HR space and you want to embed tech into it as well. First thing you're also going to be learning is fully data analytics, which is problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL. They now move to HR analysis and performance evaluation. How do you utilize Excel to even perform performance evaluation in your company? How do you build your HR metrics? How do you know the life cycle that, okay, instead of performing exit interviews, I need to be doing stay interviews? Because once someone gets married, the person leaves the organization, which means you need to, before the person gets married, you need to have a conversation on how to make that stay better. Okay, you now move towards your dashboarding, collaboration also, and building your case. So this is simply going to prepare you to also be a data analyst as well as a HR analyst. The duration is also the same thing for every program that we offer, and the timeline for those courses as well as so the same thing. And the last one is cybersecurity. And what I always mention to people is that the model that we utilize in cybersecurity, because it's very vast, is what I call the medical degree model. If you want to be a medical doctor as of today, that's what we call general medicine. And then you now specialize, whether you want to be a pediatrics, a neurosurgeon, and so on and so forth. Now, that is that same approach. You are going to be exposed both to the red team and the blue team. Okay, red team, which is attack-minded, blue team, which is defense-minded, and also the risk aspect of it and the governance and risk aspect. But the first thing you understand is to understand the various roles and technologies that exist here. Then you move on to your ISP, which we call the fundamentals of cybersecurity. There are three main pillars, which we call the CIA triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data. Every single thing that you do in cybersecurity is hinged on these three things. Every single thing you do in cybersecurity is hinged on these three things: confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data. Then I'm going to walk through the network security aspects, your threat and vulnerability. So all these, there are tools that you are learning. For network security, you're learning how to utilize Wireshark to build a network topology. You're learning how to use Cisco Packet Tracer to run your simulations. Okay, for threat and vulnerabilities, you're learning how to use Nmap and Nexus for you to be able to do your threat analysis. Then we'll have your SOC roles and responsibilities, where you now learn how to do log analysis, how to do threat detection and responses, and network traffic monitoring. Basically, you're going to be learning Splunk with respect to how to be able to function as a SOC analyst. Then you also learn your open source intelligence gathering, that's OSINT, where you learn how to also be able to gather data and information. Then you move on to how do you profile all these threats and analyze your malware. Okay, before you now get into penetration testing, how do you now make an attack? Okay, that's where you now start learning things like your metasploit for you to perform exploitations and so on and so forth. Right? You're also going to be taught the different network recognizers that's out there, as well as your privilege escalation, which has to do with the different techniques for those exploitation. Then the last part of it is what we now call GRC, which is governance, risk, and compliance, where you now learn the different frameworks, ISO standards, NIST, as well as how to perform compliance audits and also do security awareness training. So you're going to be exposed to various aspects of cybersecurity, starting with the risk side. Then you now move towards the threat intelligence analyst. Okay, threat intelligence analyst. They now move to being a penetration tester, pen tester, okay, as well as a network engineer. Okay, they have this your GRC embedded here. So it exposes you to various aspects of cybersecurity. In the end, you're now going to do a project, a capstone on the major area that you want to serve as your own domain. So like I said earlier, all our programs, they are only on Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then the evening class, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. all in West African time. Okay, just do your own conversion and you can find a time that suits you better. Then the learning duration is for 8 months, where you learn in the classroom for 6 months and then have an internship experience with us for 2 months. And when I talk about this internship, it means that you are going to a different company, Amdari. Okay, so Amdari is fully based on consulting services, which means you are going in there to get those experience that you need more and more, added to the ones they've already gotten from Tenalytics. So which means you have the opportunity of having 2 leading companies in your CV. Oh, while I was consulting with Tenalytics, I worked on this project. Oh, while I was interning with Amdari, I worked on this project. These are things that recruiters want to hear, because that's the only way they can show that you already have an experience while looking for those jobs that you want. Okay, but like I said earlier, everything I've said is just built on technicalities. Technical skill alone is not sufficient for you to land a job. Okay, technical skill alone is not sufficient for you to land a job. For you to be able to land a job, you also need employability skills. And these are also services that we provide for you. So 2 months after you joined, you're going to have your CV looked at and revamped for you. Okay, so your CV is going to be worked on 2 months after you joined, because you believe that after 2 months, you should have learned substantial thing. So you're now going to be given a new CV and you are expected to instantly start applying to roles. Okay, and also you're going to be taught how to optimize your LinkedIn. Because I always mention to people, LinkedIn is the easiest, LinkedIn is the fastest, LinkedIn is the cheapest way of hiring. So most recruiters are always going to try to hire through LinkedIn. But if your profile is not optimized, it's not going to come up. So we're going to also walk you through this, as well as how to navigate the job market, where we bring in experts back to the classroom to walk you through on all the different websites that can easily utilize to land a job. Then very important, when you land an interview invite, you can book an interview preparatory session with us and we prep you for those interviews. How do you answer questions using the STAR framework, which is simply situation, task, action, and result. So situation will be, oh, while I was consulting in Tenalytics, I worked on this project. And then you start talking about the task that you carried out and the action that you did. Then in the end, you talk about the result. Oh, in the end, it was able to improve the turnover, which also in the end, improve the revenue of the business. When you speak like this, recruiters are going to know that you have worked with an actual project and an actual company. All right, so you also have the job reference letters that we also provide to you. So one major thing that I've noticed is that if you're looking to land a job in UK, US, or Canada, or any of those countries, excluding Africans, right, there will always be need for them to validate your experience. So we're also here to provide you with references and recommendation letter at any point that you need it, and also on-the-job support. Most of our students do not come for this one, but it's also a service that's available for them. 1 month after you've landed a job, we're also available to support you on that job till you find your feet. Also, weekly mentorship sessions that we provide, as well as Upwork optimization. How can you learn how to freelance using Upwork? So while you're still searching for a job, you're working on projects on Upwork, making $100 here, $20 here, $50 here, and so on and so forth. Okay, so these are things that we do to make sure that you land a job. And very important, we also scrape job boards and provide you with available jobs. For instance, this is one of the jobs that we posted recently. And what exactly do we do? So let me just quickly go to one of the job boards. So one of the job boards that we utilize is UK Visa Jobs. So this is a paid platform. So what we always do is that week on week, we scrape jobs that are here and provide it to our students to apply to these jobs. So we scrape all those jobs and provide it to our students to apply to them. For instance, I've looked at this one, I've seen this data analyst role, and we can now send it to our students to also apply. And one major thing that we make sure that they have is that when you join, you have access to this learning management system, all right? And here in this learning management system, you have the option to schedule for interview, to request for reference letters, to request for reference details, and so many things. And then we have our own in-house built AI, which we call Oluko, that means trainer or teacher in Yoruba language. So once you click on it, for instance, let me quickly do something, okay? So I can show us how it also functions fully. All right, so let me start a new chat with Oluko. Oluko is asking me what's my name. My name is Chukwemeka Oluko. So let me simply put Chukwemeka, okay, submit. And it's asking me, hello, Chukwemeka, my name is Oluko, which stands for teacher. I'm a personal trainer designed by Tenalytics. Which of these below do you want to do? Career-related question, course content explanation, code-based issue, interview preparation. Let me say interview preparation. You say, oh, wow, awesome, congratulations. Please copy and paste everything about the job in the chat below. So let me go to that job that I just saw and just copy what is there and also send it to Oluko to look at. So I've copied it and let me give it to him to know what he's going to say. So once I click on it and come back here and paste, it's now going to easily give me clue and things that I need to also do to prepare for this exact interview. So you have your Oluko and you also have us to prepare you for those interviews or for even code-based issues that you have. So why it's better for you to use our own in-house AI sometimes is because it runs away from using all those, for instance, if you're using ChatGPT, there are words that it's always repeating. Okay, but if you use this, it gives you a streamlined approach. For instance, understanding the role, familiarize yourself with this, and so on and so forth. Technical skill that you need to understand SQL, Tableau, Power BI, and so on and so forth. Business acumen. It's preparing you for those interviews and things that you need for it. So all these and more are things that we do for you. Remember, we are going to teach you the technical skill. We are going to provide you with employability skill. We are going to scrape job boards and we are going to prepare you for interviews. But one thing still remains constant. The responsibility of applying to jobs rests on you. All right? So we're going to provide you with these jobs, but you are meant to apply to them. We've had instances where people are so tired and lazy to apply to jobs. I always tell people applying to job is a job on its own. It is a job on its own. For you to be able to apply to lots of jobs, you need to bring out time and be able to do it. Our success rate as of now is 88%, which means 88 people out of 100 are coming to our program, move on to greater things. Now, the negative 12% that we have, does it mean that we didn't give them the same thing that we gave the others? That answer is no. All right, we gave them the same thing, but they applied or they got tired of applying. So what I always tell people is that you need to continuously apply. It is a numbers game, really. I was telling someone that for you to, I was doing a survey rather last year, and they said that for you to land one job interview in a month, you need to apply to, was it 27 jobs every week? Now, 27 jobs every week simply means that you need to apply to 108 jobs every month for you to land one job interview. It doesn't mean that you don't have the skill, though. You already have the skill. But for you to land one job interview, you need to apply to all these jobs. So if what you apply to as at now is maybe you are doing in a week, you apply to 5 jobs, you are still starting because it is a numbers game, really. Okay, so these are ways that we help our students, and all these are success stories of people that have been able to move before you to our programs and how they were able to also land their own success stories. Like I said, Lois, she used to be an accountant. She took the business analysis role and she landed a job as a project manager in UK. Ngozi also used to be a customer service rep and also a HR. She did business analyst and also landed a job as a business analyst. Same thing with Oluwadamilare. There are a lot of people. All these are success stories of people before you. So we have it here so that you can know that it is possible for you to make all these things possible. When you get the slide, please make sure you fill the attendance form. When you get the slide, you can look for these guys on LinkedIn, personally reach out to them, ask them how their own experience was, so they can also be able to gauge from their own understanding. Someone like Abdurrashid, he still resides in Nigeria, but he's working for Child 420 in US remotely. So if I tell you that it is possible, it is because we've had people that have been able to do this before you. Okay, and all these things can also watch it and get to know how their own experience was. And by the time you are done, we're also going to issue a certificate from us because we are fully accredited by American Council of Training and Development, ACTD. So when you are done, you're also going to get this certificate to show that you are fully certified to function in those roles. Now, what are the next steps that you need to take? What are the next steps that you need to do to position yourself to land a job this year? I know earlier this year, a couple of us said we're going to break into tech, but right now we're already in April. So our next class starts by May 10th. So every first Saturday of the month, we start a new cohort. And the next one is starting by May 10th. And how can you easily get into any of this program? So the full price for all our program is $900, but it's currently discounted by 20% for the first 20 people to join any of those cohorts, all right? Which means instead of you to pay $900, you pay $750 US, okay? And you have the option to break down your payment into monthly installmental option, which means instead of you paying one-off, you can pay $150, $150, $150 into different 5 months, okay? And how can you get started? All you have to do is simply click on the link that my colleague is dropping, and it's going to bring you to this page. All right, simply click on this link and it's going to bring you to our main stack enrollment center. Once you are here, what you need to do is scroll down and look for the program that you want to go for. Okay, so this is showing your training calendar that we're starting program each first Saturday of the month. Okay, but the pricing may be different because right now we have a 20% discount. Last month we had a 50% discount. Next month, there may not be any discount at all. So I always advise people to take advantage of all those discounts at any point that they meet it. So when you scroll down, look for the program that you want to go for. So let me go for data analytics. Click on register for DA. So it's going to bring you here where you can now decide how you want to structure your own payment. So it's going to bring you here and you decide how you want to structure your own payment. Now, like I said earlier, we only have 20 spots available for anyone going to any of this program. And as you can clearly see, only 8 seats are now available right now. Okay, and once the 8 seats are fully booked out, the price goes back to the full pricing, which is $900. So I always advise people to secure their spots as fast as possible before this spot runs out. Okay, because once the spots are fully taken, the option goes back to the full price. And how can you secure your spots? All you have to do is simply click on the link there. Click on the one that suits you the best. Okay, click on whether 700 or 350 or 750. Okay, and here is the catch. If you're paying one off, you have extra $50 knocked off for you. If you're paying in 2 installments, you have extra $50 knocked off. And this is simply from the principles of MPV. Okay, that's net present value of money. Okay, 1,000 naira that I have in my hand today is different from 1,000 naira paid over 7 months to me. So that's why we also give people that pay one-off or in 2 installments also extra discount, just to also be able to incentivize them for making that bold move. So if you decide to pay in 5 installments, which is $150, once you click on the one that works for you, click on secure your seat. And it's now showing you that your first payment is due today. The next payment is due by May 19th. Your third one by June 19th, fourth one July 19th, and then last one by August 19th. So all you have to do is now click on proceed, and it will bring you here for you to now put in your name, your email address, phone number, and simply pay for the product. And that is simply that. Once you are done, you're going to be redirected to a site where you can easily be able to now fill in your details for us to be able to capture it. Now, someone was asking, how about people in Nigeria? Now, the site is geotagged, which means if you are joining from Nigeria, you are going to be seeing the pricing in NGN. If you are joining from Ghana, you're going to be seeing the pricing in cedis. If you are joining from US, you're going to be seeing the pricing in USD. Okay, if you are joining in Canada, you're going to be seeing it in Canadian dollars. If you are joining in UK, you see it in pounds. If you're joining from Germany, if you're joining from Germany, you see it in euros rather. Okay, so no matter where you are joining from, you can see the pricing in your own local currency, and you can easily make payments using your own local currency as well. Okay, so like I said, the discount is just for the first 20 people. And what I always advise people that are yet to know the program to go for, because the clarity course will start by Monday, and I think by Monday there might be holidays, which means it might start by Tuesday. Okay, so I would advise people to secure their spot and then book your clarity session for us to find a career spot that fits you. If after discussing with us, we realize that, oh, you chose cybersecurity, but data analytics is more suitable for you, we are going to change it from the back end for you. Okay, but if you don't secure your spot and you book clarity before, while you're waiting for it, maybe after the clarity, the discount might be over. Okay, so that's why I always advise people, secure your spot first and then get into the program. When you come into the clarity call, you can now look at your background and choose a career path that is suitable for you. I don't know if this makes sense to everyone on the call, because that's the best way for you to be able to get into any of these courses. I don't know if right now there are people with questions for me, because this is when I can now relax and take your questions, because I've been able to finish most of the things on my slide. So if you have any questions, please feel free to use the raise hand icon and I'll call you up to speak, or drop it in the comment section and I'll pick up the question from there and answer it clearly. Okay, Tony is saying, I'm about to start MSc AI and data science in UK. My course starts in June. I'm not from tech background. Can I still join your classes? Fantastic, Tony. Now, Tony, our courses are fully for people without even experience. Because even if you have an experience and come into the program, we are going to still teach you like you do not know anything. So we always teach from basic level and climb everyone up to the higher level. Okay, we teach from the grassroots and climb you up to advanced level. So I advise you, Tony, to start your own training as well, so that by the time that your 8 months will be over, you also have a substantial foot in your MSc and you can instantly start applying to roles. I hope that makes sense to you, Tony. Okay, Agatha is saying, as CEO, would you analyze this transaction idea and provide appropriate answers since none of my mail has been answered? Agatha Lawrence. Oh, wow. Agatha Lawrence, I'm sorry about that. I don't know the email you are sending anything to, but send your email to accounts@10analytics.io and we are going to definitely look at it. Okay, so accounts@10analytics.io. So Elijah or Finny, please drop the email for Agatha to also have. And then definitely the email is going to get to us and we'll make sure that we provide you with a stable answer. But I've taken down your name so that after this session, I can also reach out to my guys and know the reason why you've not been able to get a response to your own email. We are sincerely sorry about that. Okay. Tempted is saying, I've paid my first installment, but I'm yet to be contacted. Fantastic. May 10th. So we are definitely going to reach out to you 1 week before the classes start to prepare you for the sessions. Okay, remember the classes start by May 10th. So right now, there is little to what you can do than just wait. Okay, so that first week of May, we'll start sending out welcome kits, inviting you to the LMS, onboarding you onto the platform to prepare you for the program itself. I hope that makes sense to you. Send it up there. Okay, thank you so much, Agatha. All right, I don't know if there are any hands raised, so I can ask them to speak to me. Okay, Maureen. Hi, Maureen. I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Hello, my question is also I've already paid for the course that will be starting up in May next month. I'm a nurse, but I already have PSM 1 and 2 and also Prince 2 Foundation. I have the certification. I'm interested in doing the agile project management. But you said something about business analytic, data analytic for people that are in nursing background. I don't know if it's advisable for me to switch or I can still thrive as an agile project manager, because I really love I enjoyed the program while I did it. The PSM 1 and 2. That's
Okay.
why I enrolled in for it.
All right, clearly, because you have that Prince 2, and Prince 2 is also tilted towards project management as well. It's already giving you an inclination towards project management, as well as nursing, because you've been in the space where you've done analysis, trying to find out what happened to people and why it happened to them. It means that you can also function as a data analyst. So it's now down to you. Let's look at it from your own personality point of view. Are you the kind of person that you want to constantly be serving as a leader and a coach for people? Okay, and are you the kind of person that you just want to be in the background, analyze your data, provide your results, and then that is just it? So it now depends on those other aspects of things. That's where you can now look at it from. But as a nurse, you can comfortably also be able to work as a data analyst. But because you have Prince 2 background, that means you can also be able to function as an agile project manager. So you have to look at it from a scale of preference perspective now. For agile project management, you're not doing anything technical sort of, but for data analytics, you are getting into looking at Excel, looking at Power BI, looking at SQL. So if you're also running from technicalities, then it means that agile project management will be the right fit for you. But if you don't mind getting your hand a little bit dirty, then it means that you can as well switch to data analytics. So what I advise you to do, Maureen, is to book a clarity course so that we can look at your background fully and be able to give you the right answer. Because this is just by me looking at it from nursing perspective. I don't know if you have, if you can speak to people, if you are someone that don't mind, or if you are shy, if you're introverted or extroverted. These are things that we're going to look out for in all those one-on-one conversations, and then give you a bit. I'm running from maths. Oh, Maureen, you have your answer already. If you're running from calculation, then stick to agile project management. So that's part of it, because you didn't give me that information before. If you're running from technical and mathematical related things, then agile project management is the best bet for you. I hope that makes sense to you. Okay, Stevens, your hand is up. I've asked to unmute. Please go ahead with your own question.
Hello. So with me, I'm a trained data analyst, but then I'm currently enrolled in a program where I'm preparing to write my CBAP exams, which is in business analysis. So I'm asking, am I supposed to still go through the whole program again from your end? Because I'm actually registered for the CBAP exams I'll be taking in somewhere June or July. So I'm asking, am I supposed to still do the program with you for the next 2 months, or is there another pathway that I can access? Thank you.
All right, thanks so much for that question, Stevens. Now, this is also down to you with respect to how well have you been groomed in the skill that you're about to get into. So why I said that is I'm looking for someone on my slide, and that person should be Hope. Now, Hope is a certified professional Scrum Master. right? But we all know what is applicable when it comes to certificates, okay? So Hope had PMP certification and other certifications as well. But as a Scrum Master, she doesn't even know how to use Jira, all right? And if you don't know how to use Jira, there's technically nothing that you're able to do there. So she now saw the need for her to go through the program, because remember, ours is more of technicalities embedded into it. So it's now down to you also, going for CBAP as a business analyst. Do you know how to use the different tools that business analysts are expected to know how to use? All right, because if you finish getting CBAP, nobody's going to say, okay, because you have CBAP, we are going to employ you. No, they're going to ask you questions around, oh, do you know how to do stakeholder analysis? Do you know how to do, what's it called? Elicitation method. Do you know how to capture people's information and be able to provide SWOT analysis and RACI metrics for us? So if those things are not things that you can do, because it's only you that can be honest to yourself, then I advise you to go through the program and get all those skills. But if there are things that you already know how to do, then I advise you to approach it from a different perspective entirely. I hope that makes sense to you, Stephen. Okay, so let me look at the comment section to see if I have questions. Okay, Maureen is asking, PSM is professional Scrum Master. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, it's professional Scrum Master. Yeah, that's PSM, Maureen. Professional Scrum Master. Okay. Okay, Chigozie may want to use the raise hand icon, but I just saw you dropping a hand stuff in the comments. It will be hard for me to see you because there are over 100 people. So use the raise hand icon so that it will just pop up, and then I will now ask you to unmute. Okay, Maureen was answering Temitope. So PSM is professional Scrum Master. I'm running from, okay, that's all those things that Temitope was dropping. Okay, I think there are no more questions. I'm just coming, sorry for coming late due to network. Oh, sorry, Onyedi Kachuku. What you want to do is to make sure you fill the attendance form so that we can make sure that we send the slide of this discussion to you and also the recorded version of everything that we talked about today. Where does data governance fall under amongst the courses? I don't guess it. So I do. Basically, data governance can easily also tilt towards data engineering and cybersecurity. But cybersecurity has more of it because that's where you do what we call governance, risk, and compliance. So it's more of governance. So that is where you might be looking at. Marvel is also dropping a hand here. It will be hard for me to see you guys that way because I don't know how to explain the raise hand icon right now. Okay, Marvel, I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead and speak, Marvel. I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I'm actually watching or listening to you from Nigeria, Abuja. But I have a question. I have 2 or 3 more years before retirement. I'm over 53 years old. So my question is, do you think I still have opportunity to pursue a career in tech with the age? Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Marvel. What I would say is that you have opportunity to apply and also be in the tech space. But I would advise you to run it from a business analysis point of view. All right, run it from a business analysis, because business analysis more of will give you opportunity to serve as in different segments. You can decide to move towards data analytics, can decide to move towards project management, can also be in business analysis, or can also approach it from project management point of view. Because as a project manager, you have enough years of experience that people need to learn from. So that can be a very, very strong trait for you. And it can also serve as a consultant in that space. I hope that makes sense to you now, Marvel. Okay, so you might want to look at it from project management because it gives you the opportunity to serve as a leader and a coach within the tech space. And judging by the experience that you have, it's going to be very, very instrumental for you. Where does health informatics fall in all this, please? Chidera, health informatics falls in fully under data analytics. So it's fully how do you utilize data tools for you to analyze health data. That's what health informatics is all about. If you're looking to move into health informatics, you want to start looking towards data analytics. Okay, I also need the contact to talk to from UK. Okay, please fill the attendance form and definitely someone from our UK region will definitely reach out to you, Kafas. Could you do at least 3 to 5 projects while doing the course? Exactly, John. you are definitely going to do more than 3 projects while doing the course. Okay, I think I've been able to answer everyone's question. So think as a team leader for a care or a how easily will learn between cybersecurity or data. Oh, Sammy, it will not be easy. I'm not going to lie to you. Judging from just what you just told me, team leader for a care organization, it will not be easy. But when we look at all your other background, you can now be able to look at everything possible. But I want you to know that it is not going to be easy doesn't mean you should run from it. I studied civil engineering. When I transitioned straight to GRC. That's governance, risk, and compliance, which is tilted towards cybersecurity. There's nothing that relates to it, but that's where I delved into straight. Before I started coming to data analytics and other aspects. So it is also possible for you. But the only thing there is that you need to make sure that you have to bring out time to learn all those things. Okay? And Rebecca, I'm an internal auditor looking to transition into data analytics. Currently, I'm in law school and aspire to become a lawyer. Which program would be stable for me? From internal auditing perspective, I would recommend business analysis for you. And from your law perspective, I also recommend business analysis for you and cybersecurity. So it's now when we look at the other aspects that we can now easily be able to tell you more and more. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. We may not really be able to take everyone's question right now, okay? And that is why we have clarity calls. So no matter where you are joining us from, there is a clarity call link that we posted to your group chat. What we expect you to do is simple, right? Book a time with us, and we're going to have a personal conversation with you or a group conversation with you to be able to help you to select the right career path. But remember, the discount doesn't wait for you. When we checked last, so just 8 when I started. Now that I've checked again, it's around 6 or 7. So I advise you to make sure you secure your spot as fast as possible. And then during the week, when we start our clarity course to see your background, if we see any misalignment, we're going to move you to a career path that is more befitting for you. Remember, the best time to get into the tech industry is yesterday. The next best time is today. Like I always tell everyone, this year has already started. People that said that we want to get into tech in 2025, Q1 is over, we're now in Q2. And if you want to be able to get into tech by Q3, it is now that you need to plant your own seed. We've helped close to 2,850 people transition for the last 5 years that we've been in the industry. And this is where all our amazing guys always work. Our highest employer of labor is always NHS. And like we all know, it's because they always provide visa sponsorship. And all these are also some social impact that we've been able to do in the past. Some hackathons, people winning money, $1,000 here, $2,000 here. But remember, those things are secondary. The most important thing for you is to gain all those premium tech skills. Everything that you have on my slide are now testimonials that when you get them, you can easily go through them and be able to understand from people's story how they were able to also move with us, learn with us, and landed roles with us. So thank you so much to everyone for listening to me for roughly 2 hours, 18 minutes. I really appreciate every single one of you for being here all this time. On behalf of my founder, Adelaide Suleiman, my co-founder, Ifemena Ipro, and also my colleagues that are on the call that is helping me out to make sure that these things go seamlessly, Fee Fulua, as well as Elijah, I say a very big thank you to each and every one of you for joining us today and listening to everything that we had to say. Remember, like I said, the best time to get into tech is yesterday. The next best time is today. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in those clarity calls after you've secured your spots, or also seeing you in the sessions itself come May 10th. Cheers, everyone, and have a wonderful day, wonderful night, or wonderful afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. Bye for now.